Hey guys, it's Desiree. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you. Today's video is very, very exciting, and that is because I am filming a video about one of the most exciting things I've ever done in my life, and continues to be one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life, and that is posting a book on Wattpad, writing a book on Wattpad, becoming a Wattpad writer, and just really engrossing myself in that community. So I've talked about Wattpad before on here, but quick little backstory for those who may have not watched my previous videos. I will link them in the iCards, or those who just don't know. I read on Wattpad since about 8th grade. In 8th grade, I went through the whole I think I'm a writer phase, wrote awful books on Wattpad. They were terrible. They were just poorly done. So I did take those down. And for the next 4 or 5 years, I read on Wattpad every single day of my life. And I was a ghost reader. I didn't really comment and engage with the Wattpad community. I just read. That's what I did. At the same time, I also wrote books. I wrote books and saved them to my drafts to the point where I had 80 drafts books saved, and I just never finished them. I'm still consistently working on most of them. There's a lot of them I really do love, but I've never finished a book before. I just tend to get a new idea and lose motivation. And so I had never posted a book on Wattpad because I wanted to post a completed book. I was I don't want to be an updating kind of author. I want to have my book posted when it's completed. That changed. I decided to jump out on a limb and share one of my books. So I did. I went ahead. I shared it. I was so excited. It was a book that I had written many, many chapters for. So when I decided to finally post my book on Wattpad, I had about 20 chapters pre-written. So I was this is great. I'll write a chapter, post a chapter, write a chapter, post a chapter, and I'll always have chapters pre-written, and it will be amazing. That is not what happened, but we'll get to that later. Point is, I posted my book. It was an incredible experience. I received so much love and support, so much more than I ever expected. Everybody was incredibly kind, super nice, and there were so many benefits to posting my book on Wattpad that I was not expecting. And that's kind of how it all started. I posted my book, and I was really pleasantly surprised with how it ended up working out for me. So this is going to kind of be a Q&A slash just me kind of sharing my thoughts on posting a book on Wattpad with you guys. I did ask my readers for any questions they may have in terms of my book specifically, or in just general as a writer on Wattpad. So first things first, so my book is called Only Sleeping. It centers around a boy It centers around a boy, Will Jackson. Will Jackson's older brother, Gage, is your notorious party boy. He throws parties after every football game. They're always at his house. Everybody knows about them. And Will is more of your little nerd. That's not really his scene. So oftentimes he stays in his room. And it just so happens that one of these times Will is in his room trying to sleep, trying to ignore the party happening downstairs, and all of a sudden someone stumbles into his bed. And he is absolutely not. And he's excuse me, please get out of my bed. And this individual says no. And that is precisely when he realizes that not only is this just some random drunk person, but it is in fact not a random drunk person. It is in fact Gage's best friend, Mason. And Mason, Will has had a crush on Mason for years. So this is both equally horrifying and fantastic for Will. And this starts the train of Mason showing up and spending nights in Will's bed simply because he wants to. And it progresses from there. So it's just a really cute book. I kept it really light and fluffy and just wonderful, and I really like how it turned out. So there's 46 chapters and an epilogue, and I completed it a couple days ago. And because I completed it, I wanted to film this video because now I have officially completed a whole book on Wattpad. I've written a whole book, I've shared it, and I feel I do have a little bit of knowledge I can bestow on more people who maybe are interested in writing on Wattpad. So first thing I noticed about writing on Wattpad is that it motivated me so much to have my book posted for the public. Simply because people were incredibly kind. They commented wonderful things, they commented funny things, and I wanted to post not only because I wanted to continue and write the story, but because I wanted to engage with my readers. So it really was a fantastic way to get me to finish my book because I was so motivated, because hundreds of people were motivating me to continue the book. As well, they were asking for updates. So that really encouraged me as well. I felt like I had to not let the people down. You know, they were really loving my work. It made me very proud of my work, and it made me want to continue to provide that for them. So that's the first thing that I think is an amazing reason to write on Wattpad, is because if you're someone who finds that perhaps you become unmotivated, this, for me anyway, was an incredible motivator for me. So one of the best parts about writing on Wattpad, about sharing a book as you're writing it, is that authors in general send their books out to beta readers once they're completed, and beta readers kind of they get that first taste of the book, and they give you their opinions, their thoughts, etc. And this helps authors to improve their story, revise their story before they put it out for the public. Wattpad is essentially having hundreds of beta readers as you write, which I felt was fantastic because they were able to give me their thoughts as the book went on. So even though I had like my ideas of what I wanted to happen within Will and Mason's relationship, my readers had the ability to comment what they wanted to happen, what they were guessing, like their predictions of what would happen, things they felt were good, things they felt were bad, characters they didn't like, what they wanted to happen with other characters, etc., etc. And that made it so I was really able to shape my book into something I knew my readers were going to love, because I was like specifically taking their feedback and letting that influence where the story went. So that was really awesome. As well, my readers were incredibly friendly and supportive and helpful in other aspects. So when you first start reading my book, the first 13 chapters, I say cringe so often, and I did not realize this when writing it. It didn't faze me. I didn't notice that I said cringe so much until my readers pointed it out, and then I was like, I use cringe as an adjective every 2 sentences. They're right, this is annoying. And then I was able to change that and started using more adjectives. I used grimace, I used flinched, I used I don't know, whatever, all these different adjectives. So that really helped me expand my writing style to not use the same adjective all the time. So that was really awesome. I also used to write my stories in like really blocky paragraphs, and my readers were able to comment and tell me that they didn't understand who was saying what, and I had someone reach out to me specifically and literally took a section of my book and she rewrote it. Not like rewrote it like new ideas or anything, but she wrote it how it would be easier to read for my readers. She like helped me grammatically and formatively, is that a word? I don't know. She helped me with the format of my book, and I was able to start writing my next chapters in that format, so it was so much easier for my readers to read. And now, writing my second book on Wattpad, that entire book is going to have this easier to read format because I was previously informed that this is going to be an easier way for my readers to read. So that was fantastic. I feel like personally that is the absolute best part of writing on Wattpad, is that you have these beta readers that are so excited to read your book, but also so excited to support and educate you. And I think that's amazing. And I think in the world entirely as people, it is so amazing and exciting and something I love when someone's able to educate me in a helpful, respectful way. That being said, some people miss the respectful part, and you will have your haters, and I don't necessarily that's not true. I did not feel like there's your traditional haters on Wattpad. People were not like malicious or rude, but there was some people that are kind of more of like, I would say like brutally honest or harsh. So you do have to be prepared for that, because they also are tearing apart something that you've put your heart and soul into, is like your legitimate baby as well. People judge a lot of things, so there's a lot of like social concepts and social things that people will judge. So there was times where people would argue about specific aspects of my book, and they took this as a reflection of my personality, me as a person. So for example, there's a character in my book who smokes cigarettes. It's a very brief exchange where my character makes a comment about not thinking people who smoke cigarettes are cool, and this became an entire debate in the comments about smoking, and like an argument of some people smoke because they need to or they have reasons to, and then the other side being like smoking's disgusting and disrespectful when you smoke near other people. And I'm like, it is happening right now. Like, this is straight up a character's thought in my book, so this isn't actually something we need to like get heated over, and there would be heated arguments in my comments, and I'm like, Okay, first of all, I completely understand that some people smoke because they have reason to. That is not me judging. Like, my character's thoughts are not my thoughts. So there is certain aspects like that where people are going to like judge things and really like nitpick and like come at you for things that you're like, whoa. So a lot of those times I just personally chose to stay out of those conversations, because as much as I wanted to mediate these conversations and like have my readers stop arguing with each other, I couldn't get involved in every single one of these kinds of conversations, and there was a few of them. So that is also something you gotta look out for, is that people are going to judge the words you say, and a lot of times they're going to take that as a reflection of your feelings or opinions, and that's just something that is going to happen. Another thing I loved about Wattpad is you're able to put your book into tags. This helps it be more easily discovered. And what's nice is that every day your tags kind of shift. So you become higher on tags or lower. So like I was #1 in a few different tags. And this was so exciting. Again, another motivating factor for me, because I would come on and I would see, oh, my book's trending in this tag. It was really, that was motivating and exciting because that meant like people were reading it, people were excited to read it, and more people were going to be able to find it, which was super, super awesome. Another nice thing is that you build this like fan base for your book before it's ever published, which is so, so awesome, because when your book actually does get published, if you ever have the opportunity to publish a physical copy of your book, you already have this fan base of people who want to read it and would buy it. Like, people have commented before to me to tell me, if your book is ever a physical book, I want to read it. If your book is ever a movie, I want to watch it. And that's really awesome. I think that provides great opportunities. These are all things that like opportunities that like Wattpad provides you that you don't necessarily have when just publishing a book, like especially as a first-time author, because you have to think like Colleen Hoover, for example, super, super famous author. So when she writes a new book, it's highly anticipated because her readers have read her previous works and they're very excited about that because they know she writes good books. But for me, as a first-time author, nobody has heard of me before, nobody's heard of my books before, they've never read anything I've written. So if I were to just write a book and then publish it, the only people buying my books are people who like see it in a bookstore or at a library or wherever they see it on a whim. It's not something they're like looking for. Have that, like I said, develop that fan base, develop those people that are going to like your readers, and then when your book, if your book is ever actually published, you already have that fan base of people who are excited and will want to buy or purchase your book, read your book, whatever the case may be. So that, really, really exciting for me. That being said, I'm gonna grab my phone real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the comments and questions I have from people on my book, because I did ask questions on there. So, like I said, these could be specific to my story itself, could be just generalized questions about Wattpad. I'm not really sure what we have, so let me check. So first comment is, when writing this, was it thoroughly planned from the start, or was it a we'll see where it goes kind of thing? So to answer this question, all of my book ideas come to me with usually a vague idea, or a vague, or like either a vague idea or a specific scene that I want to write. If it's a specific scene, then I write the book kind of based on that scene, around that scene. If it's a vague idea, then I develop it from there. So for this book, I really knew, what I knew is that I wanted a book where someone, whatever, finds a boy in his bed, boy stumbles into his bed, one of these options, something like that. But I wanted it to not be like a, and then they sleep together. I wanted it to be like a really like slow burn of like, I'm gonna sleep here, but we're not going to do anything. Like forced proximity almost kind of thing. Slow burn, but this isn't gonna go anywhere. So I knew like that was like my vague idea, and then I developed my characters as I went. Sometimes I would have ideas for like future plot, and I would just like save those to add into the future plot when we got to that part. But for the most part, things just kind of flowed naturally for this book. And just like my books in general, I don't always have pre-planned things. Okay, next question. This is specifically about my book. They said, how tall are they in order? By they, I mean Will, Mason, Gage, Hank, and Jenna. I would say like Mason, Gage, Will, Hank, and Jenna and Will are probably like close. Like Jenna's like a little bit smaller than Jenna. Oh my god, what? next question. Okay, so this is specifically about one of my characters. This is every time Austin was being sweet over Will, was he trying to flirt because he likes Will, or was he simply being a nice person? So this is a lot of people were shipping my character, my main character Will, with other people in the book. They were like, I want him to be with Kate, I want him to be with Austin. And no, Austin is just genuinely an incredibly friendly guy. I never had any intention of him liking Will or being gay. He's just a really, really nice guy who's always been really nice to Will. I'm just one of the guys on the team that's always been incredibly friendly, and took the time to be nice to Will despite the fact that Will was super awkward and anxious around them. So no, Austin is not interested in Will, wasn't flirting with him, just really, really nice. That's all the questions I have, and I feel like those are my thoughts when it comes to writing on Wattpad. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment them down below. And with that, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Peace out.